Okay, fantastic. So I'm going to hide my video if everybody else wants to hide their video, and then that way it just kind of makes it so that we're not blocking the presentation. Okay. So I am sharing my screen, social media hacks to survive a shifting real estate market. Thank you all so much for being here. I am going to be talking for probably about a good 30-40 minutes. I'm going to give you a lot of information. So make sure you've got pen and paper in hand and take lots of notes, and that we can just dive right in. A little bit about me. I'm Karen Liz Albert. I started a company called Behind Your Curtain in 2010. I have spent the last 12 years helping real estate professionals learn how to effectively and strategically utilize social media so that you actually start to see some return on your efforts and generate some leads, right? That's what we're all wanting to gain as a result of this. So we'll talk a little bit about why I know we think and know that social media is important. Absolutely builds credibility. You can absolutely start to show up in front of a specific targeted market. It really helps expose the fact that you are a bit of a marketer, which we have to be. We have to have that marketing hat on when we are, producing and wanting to increase awareness of us and our business. It absolutely can generate leads. It tells your clients, if you're really good on social media, that you know how to use it and could help them, if you're a listing agent, help promote the listing through all the different social media channels. And it can absolutely help you win a deal. I have had agents contact me and say, Karen, I need your help in getting my social media looking good and getting me followers because I literally lost a deal. You know, they looked at me and they looked at Nancy, and Nancy's social media looked a lot more impressive. And they decided to go with Nancy instead. So, think about giving you that competitive advantage. That first impression certainly makes a much more of an impressive first impression when people are taking a look at you and your graphics look really good and you've got a good following. And again, shows that you understand how to utilize social media as a part of your marketing strategy. But, I'll tell you, this is what I get a lot from a lot of realtors that I talk about social media with, is they're like, Karen, I get how important it is. I just can't seem to get it to work. I'm really busy. I have a family, or I've got a team that I'm trying to manage. Maybe I got more than one job. And so how do I fit in time to do social media? Or I also hear, I get it, but I'm on social media all the time. I feel like I'm a hamster on a wheel and I'm just not seeing any return on my efforts. And I basically call that mistaking activity for progress. And the two things that are really missing that are causing you to either be the hamster wheel or complete avoidance is the fact that, one, you don't have a clear strategy, and two, you don't have the simple step-by-step instructions on how to execute that strategy. So what I'm going to be talking about here with you today is to help you understand how to strategically utilize social media. And the 8 hacks that I'm going to walk you through today is really going to help you start to adjust your thinking and approach around things like Facebook and Instagram and social media in a way that you're going to be probably a lot less of a hamster on a wheel and a lot less apprehensive about that as well. So the first hack that I want to talk about, which is really the most important component before you get started in social media, is really understanding ideally who it is that you want to attract when it comes to social media. The majority of agents that I work with tend to want to sort of be in everything to everybody, but that just does not work when it comes to social media platforms. And I'm going to talk a lot more about why that doesn't work. But let's forget about the fact that we're talking about social media for a moment. And let's just go back to marketing 101. If you think about every single marketing campaign that has ever been written, it's always written with the ultimate consumer in mind, meaning that you're never going to see the cover of a sugary cereal box with a mom doing yoga on the front, right? They know who their target market is. And social media is really no different. You need to understand who it is that you want to attract as a result of being on social media. And so an exercise that I do with a lot of my clients when we want to identify that sort of ideal client is to, and the little bit of homework for you is at the end of this presentation, take out a piece of paper and write down the names of your top 10 perfect clients. And what I mean by that is, what are the clients that are repeat customers? They refer business to you. You kind of feel like, you know, you even have a bit of a personal relationship with them. And then once you've written down those names, then you want to take a look at some similarities around what we call demographics and psychographics and start to see what bubbles up to the top. Where do you see some similarities in that top 10 names of age or marital status or profession? Have they all been first-time home buyers, or have they been, you know, the baby boomers that are transitioning into the second half of their life? Or, you know, are they parents with the little kiddos? Because once you start to see some similarities, that's when you're starting to actually start to identify a particular perfect client. Some may call them a niche or a target market. But once you start to see some similarities in the demographics, that's what makes it a lot easier for you to then also identify things like psychographics. So psychographics are where we spend our time and our money. Like, you know, do we like to travel? Are we vegans? Do we like to exercise? If we've got the little kiddos, we might be running around taking them to all of their sports and kids activities. And so once you get clarity on the who, then the next important thing is then identifying what is the problem that you can then solve for that particular perfect niche client. What are the problems that they're facing? So for example, if it's a first-time home buyer, maybe they are really fearful about the fact that their credit isn't good enough, or they need a lot of money for down payment, or perhaps if it's, again, the baby boomers, maybe they're really worried about, what do I do with all of these things that I've acquired over the years? And I'd really like to be able to downsize all of this and maybe transition into a 55 and over community. And so you could think about becoming an expert in those 55 and over communities, or become an expert or have expert resources available to you that could help someone with like estate planning or downsizing or decluttering. Or if it's the first time home buyers, maybe you have a lot of information around helping them, you know, dissuade that fear about not having good credit or money that they need to have available to them. And then the other thing that becomes a tremendous benefit once you start to identify who it is you want to attract is then you can start to identify the professionals that also cater to that particular demographic. So think about what are the other businesses that cater to that particular demographic. And if there's professional services, there could be like media sources or information that you could start to provide to that particular demographic. Makes it a lot easier for you to understand the conversation that you can be having with this particular community if you understand who that particular community is. And I know a lot of you on here are rock stars with Cami. And so again, if you are really wanting to present and promote the fact that you are a real agent of change, then make sure that you're also thinking about what are the other types of businesses that also cater to, you know, if you want to reach out to nonprofits or those that also work with nonprofits, or making sure that you're starting to really get clear on those other types of businesses as well. And so that's all an exercise that I highly suggest, if you haven't done this, is to work on identifying your ideal perfect client and then have that start to become a part of the strategy that you apply. I'll give you an example. This is Joe. He's based out of Los Angeles. And Joe was actually a very new realtor. He didn't have the years of experience to do the kind of the top 10 clients exercise. But the other thing that's also really effective is I've been doing this again for 12 years, and I will tell you every single time, like attracts like. And so if you are if you are not one that's been experienced, you might then just look at yourself. What are your interests? And that's what we did with Joe, because we discovered that Joe was a newlywed, and he and his newlywed wife were avid pet lovers. You know, they fostered kittens and they donated time and money and all of that. And so I said, well, how would you feel about branding yourself as the realtor for pet lovers? And he was like, can we do that? And I said, we can do anything you want to. These are social media platforms that are free and allow us to be as incredibly creative and out of the box thinkers as possible. And so Joe took it one step forward further, and he actually had a Jetta, and he traded that in for a 4Runner. We called it the Pet Lovers Caravan. The whole back of the 4Runner had the, you know, the treats and the leashes and the cat carriers. He had called me a couple of years ago and actually said that he took a cat around to show listings. So you don't want to discount the passion of pet lovers, right? But then he became like, I knew the best parks and the HOA and the breed restrictions and the best neighborhoods. And then if you look at the list on the right-hand side, these are all the professionals that cater to the pet lovers, right? The vets, the dog walkers, groomers. So I taught him how to connect his social media pages with these other professionals as well, so that he was able to show up as not just a realtor to these pet lovers, but you know, understanding again, what's the pain or the problem? Hey, you want to take your pets around to look at property? No problem. I've got the caravan. Hey, you're new to the area. You don't know a good vet? No problem. Here's a list of vets that I've worked with or vetted over the years. So again, it's knowing that conversation is easier when you know who it is that you are wanting to attract. And then this is Sandy. She's actually a licensed agent out of Dallas, Texas. And again, we did the exercise with her. She had been in real estate for a while, and what bubbled up to the top for her was what she hadn't realized is that she had actually been servicing a lot of single divorced moms with the little kids. Well, guess what Sandy was? A divorced mom with little kids. So that's the like attracting like right there. And so she took it one step further. She hired a bonded licensed babysitter, because again, she was like, I want to be a realtor, but I get your pain and your problem. I'm going to take this one step further so that you don't have to worry about what are you going to do with these little kiddos if you've got to get your house ready for a listing, or you want to go out and look at properties. Let the kids be with this babysitter so you don't have to worry about that. And then she went on and expanded that. She does pamper spa days and mom's night out and all that stuff, because she became sort of that trusted advisor that they knew that her babysitter would be good with the kids. And then if you look at the list on the right hand side, again, it's whatever professionals also cater to that, the divorce attorneys and the child support. And so again, it's kind of like, who is it that I want to attract so that I can start to really add value to them in social media and in their life, and that I can start to create what we call these power partners, right? So the divorce attorneys and these other businesses that you can start to refer business to, and maybe they'll start to, you know, refer business to you as well. So that is hack number one. And if you get clear on your who it is you want to attract, I'm telling you, all of these other hacks are really going to fall into place. And hopefully the light bulb is going to really start to go off for you with respects to taking that step one, hack one, knowing who you want to attract, identifying the ideal perfect client, and starting to apply all these other hacks to it too. Because hack number two is all about feeding the algorithms in the social media platforms. And if you're not clear on who it is you want to attract, it's going to make this hack number two much more challenging for you, because whenever you're using any social media platforms, there's two markets that you always want to make sure that you're taking into consideration. There's the market that knows about you, and we consider those the buyer. And then there's those that don't know about you, and we consider those the browsers. So the buyers are like your friends and your family members and your followers. And then you've got the browsers who are out there in Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn. They might have a need for what you have to offer, but they just don't know about you yet. And the one thing that controls how you show up in front of either one of those markets is the algorithm. And so the algorithm in every social media platform has one primary goal, and that goal is to make sure that it keeps the user community happy. And the way that it does that is that it ensures that the information that shows up on the news feed of every single user is right in alignment with what that user has an interest in. And so you and I are dictating all day long what we see show up on our news feed, because we tend to post about and engage with the content that's very much in alignment with our lifestyle and our interests, right? And then what happens is once the algorithm starts to get a sense of what a user has an interest in, it actually goes and scans the millions of business pages looking for pages that produce content that it can start to organically display onto the user's newsfeed. The challenge is most real estate agents are using their social media platforms to be all about them and an everything to everybody. And the algorithm does not have a profile called an everybody. So you can see how important it is to finish hack exercise number 1, so you can actually start to give the algorithm the information that it is needing to help you start to show up in front of this ideal demographic that you're wanting to attract. Because when the algorithm goes and scans the business pages, when it scans your business page, there's 5 specific questions that the algorithm is needing to get answers to. It wants to know who you are, what you do, how you do it, who you do it for, and where you do it. And the who you do it for and the where you do it, those are the 2 questions that tend to get neglected. We're not necessarily focusing on that because we kind of are all about us, right? We want to talk all about us, which is understandable. But then again, understanding that that's not the information that the algorithm is looking for to really help match your content up with the appropriate user community. And then when the algorithm goes and scans your page, there's 3 areas that it's looking to get the answers to those 5 questions. It first wants to look at the names and the information that you have on your page name. Are you putting in keywords? This is Alan Davis, who is actually a client of mine. And a little side caveat here, this header banner image that you put on your Facebook business page is one that gives you a tremendous opportunity to be communicating so much graphically to the visitors of your Facebook business page. And Alan went through a program with me and, discovered obviously he's accredited military relocation specialist, and he wants to attract the military. And all he had prior to this header picture was just a picture of a house, which is common, you're in real estate, but you don't really realize that you can be communicating so much more, because there is absolutely no doubt when you're looking at Alan's Facebook header who it is that he wants to attract. So graphically, visually, make sure you have a really nice header banner picture that has all your contact info and pictures that are representing who you are and who you do it for and where you do it. But for the algorithm looking for the keywords, it looks at the name that you and the information you've given on your name, and then it also looks to the description of your profile picture and the description added to the header banner picture. So 90% of you will probably go look at the descriptions you've got on your profile or your header banner, and you probably don't have any, and that's okay. You didn't know that that's where the algorithm is going, but write out some information that is at least answering those 5 questions and put that in as the description of your header and your banner picture. So you can start to feed the algorithm with the appropriate information. This is another example of this is an agent here in the Denver area that he works more kind of in the Airbnb space. He works a lot with up in the mountains and ski resorts and that kind of stuff. So again, you just want to make sure that you've got all the information that the visitors of your page are going to appreciate. And then also make sure you've packed in all of the keywords and information that the algorithm needs so that it can start to really show you and your information to the appropriate community answering those 5 specific words. And then when it comes to feeding the algorithm on the Instagram side, it's absolutely your name and your bio. So make sure that in your Instagram page, in your name, that you've got keywords like realtor or where you also do it as well. So, the who is important, but the where is also just as equally important, because as a realtor, you really want to make sure you're showing up in front of that specific community that you really want to show up in front of. And then anytime that you have the opportunity to add keywords to your descriptions, absolutely make sure that you are incorporating the, real estate agents of change and anything that's surrounding the nonprofits. So think about those keywords that are going to help you to show up in front of the right demographic, because it's all about feeding the search engines and feeding the algorithms with the right information and all of the right keywords. And so hack number 3 is we've looking at number 1, we know who it is that we want to attract. We've identified the areas in your Facebook and Instagram of how you can feed the algorithm. The next is, how do you now use these tools to start to get information that is going to help you start to add value to the user community in a way that is more than you just pushing information out about real estate. And that is really where your news feed becomes very, very helpful and valuable to you. So what I mean by newsfeed is that in Facebook, you actually have a newsfeed that will show you the posts of every single other Facebook business page that you follow. And so there's 3 types of businesses that you want to search for in Facebook and follow that is going to help pack your newsfeed with really relevant content that you can start to simply share and engage with as your business page. So one of the types of businesses that you want to seek out and follow and connect with in your Facebook are any businesses that you actually have a working relationship with. So if you have a lender, if you've got a title rep, if you use a photographer, a stager, you definitely want to make sure that you're connected with the Real Agent of Change Facebook business page. Make sure you're following them. The other types of businesses are ones that provide relevant content to this community that you're wanting to show up in front of. So, you know, for Joe, the realtor to pet lovers, I made sure that he was following a lot of pages that provided information about pets and, you know, the best places that you can go for good nutritional dog food or cat food, or how to care for your iguana, right? So finding those types of content, relevant content provider pages, and then following a lot of your local pages. So the pages that give you information about what's going on in your geographical area. One of the goals that you want to accomplish here is showing up as a realtor that proves that they really have their finger on the pulse of what's going on in your community. And the social media platforms are such fantastic resources for you. All the information is there. It's just knowing how to efficiently and strategically find it, so that you're not having to, you know, randomly seek it out all the time. Your news feed, once you follow a business page as your business page, then your business page news feed is going to show you the posts. Every time they post, it falls right into this one single news feed for you. So like the posts, comments, maybe even find one that you want to share onto your business page. It makes it so much easier and efficient for you to have content that is relevant to this community that you are wanting to attract and show up in front of. And then also dominating your local community. This is a fantastic page that Facebook has. Every local area has this page in Facebook, and it's called your places page. So what you do is you just go into Facebook, go into the search box, put in your geographical area, and at the very top of the filter section for places, when you click on places on the left-hand side in the filter, the very top on the right-hand side, 99% of the time is the places page. And what this places page gets you is all of the places where to go in the local community, any upcoming events that are in the local community, and also all of the groups that are in your local community. And this is all broken down. I know it's a little bit small, but these are all broken down by categories. So you could go to groups if you, again, you're wanting to attract pet lovers, there's groups for pet lovers. If you want to attract vegans, there's group for vegans. And all of these groups that are listed on your places page are groups that are in your geographical area. So definitely find the places, spend time on the places page, and follow a lot of the businesses that show up in the where to go section. So again, you really want to be able to just efficiently find all of the content that's going to keep you showing that you are very aware of everything that's going on in your geographical area. And then also groups. So I talked a little bit about the groups in that places, but groups I went the wrong way. Groups in Facebook are really, really helpful in terms of your business, your real estate business, not you as an individual, but your business, to show up in front of the members of these groups. So there's some public groups and there are private groups, but the difference is business pages, everything's wide open, right? You can go to the pages and see everything that's been posted on there. Groups are private. You can't see what's going on there unless your request to join has been accepted. But when you find groups that cater to your local community and your niche, then everything you do in that group will always be as your business page. So always join groups as your business page, not your individual. And don't join groups that are all a bunch of realtors, right? That's just going to put you in front of a bunch of other realtors. What you're wanting to accomplish here is find the groups that are relevant to your local community and the niche that you're wanting to, or this perfect client. So, niche for Joe, the pet lover, realtor, the pet lovers, he found a bunch of private groups for pet lovers in his area. So he was able to join those. Even though he did it as the realtor, he was still able to add a lot of value talking about ways to communicate around his love of pets as well. And you'll notice that the top that I have this logo circled at the top. So these are icons that are available to you. And this icon logo at the top is the one that you'll click on to see all of the posts from all of the groups that you've joined as your business page. So just like your business page newsfeed, where you'll see all of the posts from those pages you followed, the groups logo icon newsfeed shows you all of the posts from the private groups that you've joined. So it's incredibly efficient. You visit your Facebook page, you hop on the home, you look at the posts from the pages you followed, you hop on the group logo, you look at all the posts from the groups that you're a member of, and then you can engage with those, like, comment, share, and engage. But remember, you always want to be doing everything I'm talking about. You always want to be doing as your business page, not as the individual Facebook user, because that's not helping you show up as the actual, realtor. Hack number 6, and there's a total of 8 if I haven't mentioned that before, so we've got a few more to go through, but the hacks number 6 is hashtags. So most people would say, oh, I thought hashtags was just like a Twitter thing or an Instagram thing. It absolutely is not, because I keep clicking the wrong thing. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Going the right way for you. There we go. So in Facebook and in Instagram, there are pages dedicated to every single individual hashtag. And on that page, it shows you every single post that contains that particular hashtag. And there's a maximum of 30 hashtags that you can use in all of your own posts. And I highly recommend that you do create a list of strategic hashtags and you put them in every single one of your posts. The strategy and the formula that we use is that you have some hashtags that are relevant to what you do and who you are, but then the other percentage of hashtags you want to have as relevant to who you do it for, and then also where you do it. So hashtag Denver mom is great for a realtor that is also a mom in the Denver area. And so being able to go to hashtag Denver mom page shows you all the posts, and then you can engage on these posts as your business page. So the people that are posting or following those posts are going to start to become very aware of you. And when you add your list of hashtags to all of your posts, then that means that your posts are not only showing up on your business page, but they're also on every single hashtag page as well. So really helps to increase the overall reach and exposure. And I'm sure, Cammie, you've probably got a list of your hashtags that you use. Absolutely suggest that those are ones that are a part of the 30 that are being used for your rock stars, because again, that's just going to help you show up in front of that community, and it's going to help that community learn more about you actually being a real estate agent of change. And so both in Facebook and then also in Instagram, you have the opportunity to use hashtags. Now in Instagram, you can take it one step farther and you can actually follow the hashtags in Instagram. And I do suggest that you follow all of the hashtags that you put into your list, because that'll help your news feed start to populate with a lot more relevant information as well. But it's the same strategy. Use the hashtags relevant to who you are and what you do and where you do it. And the other thing that I love about Instagram is that when you go to a hashtag page, you actually are given a section here that's called top posts. And there's 9 posts that fall into this top post section. And so those are kind of, Instagram's kind of serving up to you the top accounts in Instagram that you probably want to be paying attention to, and also engaging, following, possibly even sharing. Because what constitutes a top post is either the amount of engagement that post has received, or the number of followers that Instagram user has that actually did that post. And so looking at the top posts, the top 9 that fall into top posts, is definitely a way for you to be a lot more effective in who you want to start to work with. And the best ones to visit are the hashtags that are relevant to your local geographical area. So you start to find those top accounts in your geographical area that you can start to engage and follow and possibly share their content. And hack number 7 is Reels. So Reels are videos, for those of you that don't know. They are absolutely what the algorithm is giving the most preferential treatment to. So if you want to do a video, don't just do it as a video, put it into Instagram and Facebook as a reel. There are components in both of the platforms that it'll say add a post, add a video, or add a reel. Add your reel because you're going to get way more reach and exposure. And you just want to keep them short and sweet. Maybe have a little hook, like at the beginning, you're going to say, I want to, stay with me because I want to kind of like show you something in particular that you think might grab their interest. You get a lot of replays if you do have kind of a lot of information. You may have even experienced this where you've watched a reel, but it's kind of gone by quickly and there was a lot of info. So you're just going to sit there and watch it again. That's actually something that the algorithm is paying attention to. So the more people sit there and watch it over and over again, the greater the chances are that post is going to get greater reach and exposure as well. And one of the things you could consider doing is, let's say that you want to grab a reel, and it doesn't always have to be you, your face. You could do a reel of an amazing listing that you have, and you're going through the house, and in the beginning you could just say, hey, stick with me because I want you to see this, whatever, you fill in the blank, if it's the master bath or closet or the kitchen or whatever, and you just kind of walk through, but the whole time you're sort of giving them that hook to stay with you to kind of watch that. Or even if you've got some ideas about ways that someone could do some decorating, or just little things that you kind of want to just put into a short and sweet video. If there's maybe a new bakery or a coffee shop or a restaurant that's opening up, grab your phone and do a little reel about it. It's so simple, but it just has to become a little bit more top of mind for you to start to do some video content, versus you just wanting to grab your phone and take a video. Just make sure you're adding it in the video as a reel. And then you can also add audio. There are things that are trending. So find the trending audio that you can add, and that can be music, or it can be background music, or it can actually be, music with lyrics and all that kind of stuff. But using a trending audio on your reel is going to help your reel get greater reach and exposure. And the trending audio pages have their own pages. So your post could actually end up on the trending audio page in Instagram as well. And then the other thing that you want to do when it comes to Instagram is sharing content into your stories. So a lot of times people will think that they have to just pump out their own information and their own content, the best way for you to leverage the Instagram stories is by just sharing other people's information into your story. It does not have to be always your own. In fact, it's kind of suggested and recommended that it isn't always your own. But if you are following a whole bunch of other local relevant Instagram accounts or Facebook accounts, they're giving you content that you can simply share. And what I'm circling in the red here is these are all real estate agents that have gone through my program. And what they've learned is that they have taken a post from another Instagram account. That's what these names are that are being circled here. And they've simply shared them into their Instagram story. And so that just kind of helps you to start to show up in the stories as, you know, a realtor that wants to add value and not just be all about them. And, you know, especially if you are also wanting to really communicate and promote the fact that you're a real estate agent of change, make sure that you're following Cami and repurposing and sharing information that she's putting out there. And then also all of you should be sort of checking out what you're all doing as well to promote the real estate agents of change. And again, it doesn't have to be all about you. And quite honestly, it shouldn't be all about you, because that isn't really how you show up and add the most value to the community. It's really more about, let me show up in a way that is going to prove that I want to add value to your social media experience, and that I kind of, know what's going on in the area. And so people will start to want to look at your social media content. And the more that you get people to look at your content, the greater the followers you're going to get, the greater the reach and the exposure, because all of that is information that, the algorithm is basically taking a look at. If you're posting stuff and it's not being seen and it's not getting engagement, that's like a tree falls in the woods scenario, right? So you want to start finding ways that you can add value through content, and that's what's going to increase your engagement and your reach and your followers. So recapping, step one, before you do anything else, is definitely start to know your audience. Do that exercise, figure out who it is that you ideally want to attract. And I will tell you that I get this question all the time. They're like, yeah, okay, Karen, I understand that you want me to focus on this particular perfect niche client, but maybe I don't just want to service that particular demographic. Or I know you're telling me to like get really hyper focused in my geographical backyard pocket, but maybe I don't just want to, work in that isolated geographical neighborhood. And I get that. And that's totally understandable. But that's not what's going to help you become visible. And when you start to focus on the who and the where in your social media marketing efforts, it shines the spotlight on you so that you can then start to be seen by these other demographics. But if you're trying to be kind of an everything to everybody, you're not being seen by anybody. So let's at least help you get seen so that you can start to expand and service some of the other demographics as well. So step one, get clear on your who and your where. Optimize your page so that you are feeding the algorithm with all of the right keywords and the information, and optimize your page again so that it looks impressive to those that are visiting. I've got a note down there that I always say, let's clean your house before we invite the party guests over. So you don't want to become that shiny object, right? And all of a sudden you're adding great content and then you draw them over to take a look at you and then it falls flat. They're not impressed with what they see. You've got maybe your head's cut off, or your header banner image is kind of fuzzy and doesn't really communicate everything that it could to them. So, make sure that you've done some house cleaning before you start to apply all these other tactics. So feeding the algorithm, follow the pages so you can pack your news feed with great content that you can start to engage with and share. Dominate your local community. So go to those places pages so you can really start to find what it is that's going on, the great restaurants and the events that are in your area, and then join some of those groups. And the groups that are going to get you in front of your niche and your local community as well. Build your list of hashtags so you can start to incorporate those into all of your posts, and then you can start to actually follow those hashtags and visit those hashtag pages as well. Turn your videos into reels and start to share other people's content in your stories as well. So lots of information there. Hopefully that's, you've gotten a little bit of the wheels are turning now on ways that you can start to more strategically use these social media platforms, because the reality of it is, while the market may be shifting, it's gonna correct. And so you want to make sure that you've been using these platforms in a way that still keeps you top of mind. It still keeps you relevant. You're adding value. So they may not need your services right now, but don't discount the power and the impact that it has when they do. And you've been the one that's been showing up on their newsfeed and continuously adding value. So one of the things that I always say at the end of this presentation, and I'm almost done, and then we can open up to any questions or anything, is, how can I help? Because I get a lot of this, okay, Karen, I get everything that you've just said, but that's a lot. And how do I get from here to where you're saying that I need to be, to where I can just kind of hit the ground running? And so there's a little program that I've put together, and absolutely want to offer this to you guys, and especially being, rock stars that you are, that this just helps take you from where you are to where you need to be very quickly. And you're just giving it all to me and my team. You and I would actually have a one-on-one Zoom call strategy session, and I help you get really clear on the who and the where. And then my team does all the work for you. We go in and give you the facelift on your Facebook and your Instagram. We do all the relevant keyword research. We build out your hashtag lists. We build out all of those those highlight circles that you saw on the Instagram page. And then we give that all back to you so that you can go in and make all the changes. And then you also get a whole bunch of training videos that'll help you to learn how to really effectively use the social media platforms and execute what I call a content and community engagement strategy. And then as a bonus for all of you being rock stars, you guys would actually have access to this amazing gallery that Cami and her team have put together of branded graphics for the entire month of February, all of the holiday posts. And so if you're interested in working with me and you'd like to sign up for this program, the simplest thing is you literally grab your phone, turn on your camera, and take a picture of that QR code, and it'll take you straight to the page where you can sign up. Just $4.97 to get you from where you are to where you need to be, so you can really start to maximize your use and exposure of your social media platforms. So that's the presentation. I know it's a lot of information. Hopefully you guys took a whole bunch of notes, and I'm going to allow you guys to ask me any questions, comments, concerns. Cami, anything that you want to chime in about?
I love that you gave the example of Joe, the realtor for pet lovers, and Sandy, the realtor for single moms, because when we talk about charitable real estate, they can help any nonprofit, but to be able to say, hey, I want to help animal rescue leagues, I want to help nonprofits that help families and children, is just a really smart way to niche down and make it easier to understand.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it makes sense, right? Because if you've done all of that, if you've put all of that effort into communicating that that's the community that you're passionate about, what a fantastic way to continue to support that through the real agents of change.
Quick question about the hashtags. You said create 30 of them.
Yeah.
Do you mean always have the same 30 so that you're...
Yeah.
No? Yeah.
Yep, exactly. I mean, when it makes sense to sort of shift it out might be either event related or seasonal, right? So there might be some ones that are trending a little bit greater around certain periods of time. The holidays, you always kind of want to throw those in, or, you might be at a particular event and they might have their own hashtag. So, you can make the necessary adjustments, but for the most part, you really do kind of want to keep that consistent list of 30.
And how long should a reel be? And that's my last question.
Reels can be short and sweet, anywhere from 30 seconds up to 90 seconds, around there. really the reason why reels have become so popular is because we have no attention span, right? And so you want to keep it real short and sweet, and doing a reel kind of forces you to learn how to do that.
Got it.
I've got
Karen,
questions.
John Freilich here. I'm sorry, Claudia, do
No.
you have a
No,
question?
no,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, John.
Karen, thank you very much. This has really been informative. Let me ask you a rookie question. Been on Facebook for a couple of years, and the problem I find is um, being busy rather than being productive. And we all can experience that, where we start scrolling through Facebook when we're supposed to be making cold calls.
Yeah.
But I have had a bad habit of not posting information, but reposting other things that click with me, and they traditionally are of a political nature, and they're not something that really rattles anybody's cage. But at the same time, if you were to go to my Facebook page, you would find out very quickly that I'm a conservative, I'm a veteran, I love the veterans, a lot of things like that that really have nothing to do with what I do as a business. And I don't know that I have a business page. Am I able to create a business page, and people will find me on my business page rather than on my personal page?
Yeah, so I heard a lot of questions in that. Let me address the page one first. You absolutely want to create a business page, because that's how people are going to be able to connect with you. And you got to be careful too, because Facebook has actually become quite strict on individual Facebook users using their individual Facebook platform for business. But if you're just kind of trying to gain the attention of you as a realtor, and I'm assuming you're a realtor, I'm sorry, I don't know, but I'm assuming that.
That's true. I'm a realtor and an auctioneer.
Oh, okay, fantastic. So if you're wanting the community to be aware of you as a realtor, then if you're just using your personal, they don't know that, right? They just know, they know you. But when you have a business page, people can refer to you, refer other people to you, to your business page. They can write reviews on your business page, and you have an opportunity to really kind of show up as your business page. And everything that you're saying, and in terms of, scrolling through the news feed and sharing other people's content and all of that is great. And really what you should be getting in the habit of doing all of that as your business page. Now, the type of content, you do want to be sensitive, and it can be delicate, because if it's having you sort of, I always say, don't do anything political or religious when it comes to the business side of it. So you'll have to kind of use your discretion in that sense. But if you are passionate about veterans and all of that, then, that's fantastic. If that's a demographic that you're interested in potentially supporting and working with, even through, real estate agents of change, or even as a realtor, there's nothing wrong with you sharing that type of content onto your business page. Absolutely not.
Thank you.
Yeah, good questions.
So, Karen, I understand you can't boost content on your personal page, and that's why it's really important to have a business page. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yep, is another great point. Yeah, you can't do
Okay.
advertising on your personal. Mm-hmm.
So, question: when adding the hashtags, do you? Well, I guess Cami, I mean, you want to post all of them all at the same time. I didn't realize you wanted to keep. I thought you would post them like when I'm promoting my husband building his hot rods.
No.
I would do stuff that pertain to hot rods.
Yeah, well, and you can throw that in, but make sure you've got all the other ones in there as well at the same
Really?
time. Yep,
Oh, wow.
absolutely. Yeah, because if you think about it, if you start doing things like, hashtag wherever you are geographically, I'm Denver, right? So if you started doing hashtag Denver living or Denver mom or whatever, then that post is going to show up on that hashtag page. It's not just going to be on your page. So it gives you the opportunity to get your content in front of that specific target
A
that you
wider
want to
span.
show up in front of. Yeah.
So like if you have a hashtag for sell this house and another hashtag sell homes in Sacramento, is that redundant, or would you do that kind of a thing?
I wouldn't just do sell this house, because you could end up anywhere, right?
You
So
want to
it's-
put a location.
Right. Yep. It's best to have the location in as many of the hashtags that you're using. So that's why it's like, yeah, hashtag Denver open house, hashtag Denver real estate, hashtag Denver mom, right? So it's getting you in front of all of those that might be monitoring those hashtag pages in that geographical area.
And I would think that I would want a hashtag, Cami, for rock. But most lay people are not going to know what that is, but it's going to attract all the other rocks out there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, Cami, if you've got sort of like your own list of hashtags that are relevant to real estate agents of change. But if you do, I think that would be a great list to share with everyone and have them consistently use it.
Well, we have some that we've used a lot, but I didn't know this strategy. So we will definitely share top 30 list for sure.
Yeah.
And then another question on your facelift for 497. How long are you working with us to be able to tune up our?
Yeah. It's about a 30-day-ish at the most. The step one, you sign up for the program, and then you are given a welcome email, and it has a link to a customer profile form. So you're going to be asked a lot of very intentional questions that I'm going to look over, and then you get access to my calendar, and that's when we schedule the one-on-one Zoom call together. And that's when I'm going to really kind of guide you to get a lot clearer on the who and the where and the strategy. And then you get to walk away, because then my team's going to go and do all of the things to make you look beautiful. And not that you're not already, but on the social media world, I don't know what you look like, but we'll clean the house for you. Right. And then you get a bunch of training videos that'll walk you through how to really do a much deeper dive into what I sort of scratched the surface of in the session.
So really understanding reels and how to do that.
Right. Yep. You get how-to videos to reels, to adding information to stories, and how to do, because a lot of stuff you can't do from the laptop in Instagram, you can only do from these guys. So a lot of how-to videos are walking you through how to do it from the phone. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, what about those of us who are traveling? Like, I'm not always in Denver or in Sarasota.
Mhm.
Should we change it, obviously, as we move around, or?
Well, for you, I would for sure, Cami, because you're wanting to expand your footprint, right? You're not just wanting to stay in Florida, right? So you want to get the attention of, like, for me, I work with agents all over the country. So I'm not going to just use Denver. For me, I don't have a geographical stamp in my hashtags. But for you, yeah, you kind of want to be wherever you are. And when you're in Denver at our Mile High Leaders event, then you could use the hashtag Mile High Leaders event, right? Yeah, good question.
Any last questions, guys? You're also going to get 30 days worth of Danielle's designs that are a design every day for whatever that day is. Take a shower with your friend day is apparently a thing. I don't know, but you'll get all of those, and they are fabulous.
Yeah, definitely. So if you guys are interested, I don't know if you were able to
Do you
grab
want
the
to
QR
do you
code.
want to put a link in at all? I actually tried to take a picture of the QR code just to see, and I couldn't get my phone to do it. But if you want to put a link in the chat, feel free to do that.
Yeah, let me do that. I can share it with you afterwards as well. I'm gonna have to kind of dig deep. So why don't I do this for purposes of time. I will get the link. I'll send it to you, Cammie, and then if you want to send it out to everybody. But if anybody has any questions or they want to just talk with me more about how I could help them, the simplest thing is go to behindyourcurtain.com, and right at the top of the website, there's a link where you can get on my calendar and we can schedule some time to chat too. So
Well, this
whatever
video is
makes you-
live. If you want to go into the comments under it on Facebook and put your offer there as well, Karen, Facebook, LinkedIn, any of the places that it is. And thank you so much for coming. This has been a hot topic for us, and I know that everyone got some great value out of it. So I appreciate you being here, and I can't wait to see you. Go ahead, Claudia. You got one more?
So Karen, I was going to get with you. Should
Yep.
I get on your calendar?
Yeah, why don't you do that? That'll be the easiest thing.
Okay.
Yep, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, just go to the website behindyourcurtain.com and then you'll get on my calendar. That'll be great.
Thank you, Karen. This has been great.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
Great
and I'll
info.
share the slides with you.
Oh, good.
I saw that was a question that came through in the chat, so I'll share the whole deck with you guys so you can reference that too.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Karen.
Good night.
Thank you guys so
Bye-bye.
much. Take care.
thanks so much.
Thanks,
By the
Cammie.
way, if any of you want to stay
Thank
on, I'm
you.
going to stop live, but you can stay on with me if you have any questions.